They are, it's like telling yourself you love yourself. They are a part of us.
Yeah, but that's like asking somebody, how are you doing? And they're not doing good and they say fine. I mean, or, you know, a lot of people within relationships, they don't really have a good, you know, idea of love, right? Oh, yeah, I love myself. But then, you know, we see clearly that they're, when they say certain remarks about themselves or, you know, certain actions, it gives them away that necessarily that's not the case. So how do we further develop on when we are actually saying I love you, that it's actually, you know, being felt through the whole core of our being and being acted on?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the neat things I think about these exercises is there's some inners, like just using the inners as an example, there's some that maybe, you know, you can say I love you and you don't have to sort of they don't feel the full throttle of the love, but they'll say, okay, yeah, that's good, and they'll come back. And I think the more you can bring back, the more filled up you're feeling in a good way, and it makes it that much easier to say, oh yeah, like, I mean, I'm at the point in the work that I do, it's like if I'm not feeling good on a day, I'm like, okay, what is it? Forgive? You darn right I'll forgive. Like, I'm not, no question about it. I don't care what it is that's been done to me. I'm going to forgive, and I'm going to reclaim inners, and I'm going to have FPS dealt with, because I like feeling good, and that's what I deserve.
It takes such a huge amount of brain cells, too, to hold on to this thought, you know, or this emotion, and to constantly remind yourself of why you feel that way and what you're going to do about it and how you're going to, you know, avoid this and that person or whatever, right? So it just makes so much more sense. It's really essentially logical.
Yeah, standing in your power. Because anytime you're avoiding somebody or not wanting to be in a situation, then you're not standing in your power. And I mean, we are so much more powerful. I see a lot of people out there trashing mankind and, you know, we're this and we're that, and it's just not true. I mean, we need to embrace who we are and not buy into this. We're these bad, you know, we created all these problems and we did all of this. Let's take responsibility for what we've done. Forget the blame game, because that's like quicksand. Take responsibility and release, and let's keep moving forward.
And what about anybody who causes discord in our world, or the powers that be? What would be your way to help people have a better understanding or able to forgive? You were mentioning earlier about water and then having different food colorings. Are you familiar with what I'm getting at? You know?
Yeah. There's times when there's energies that can be clinging to our energy that can have an effect on our thoughts, mental, physical, emotions. And what can happen with, if you think of your energy as a glass of water, it's clear. And so if you have another energy clinging to you, say that's like blue food coloring in your water, and then there may be another energy clinging to you, and that's like red. And what happens is it looks like it dirties up your water because your water becomes darker. And each of those energies clinging to you, because they have an effect on your mental, physical, or emotional, you're going to be hearing their thoughts, and unless you're aware that they're not your thoughts, you're going to be assuming that they are your thoughts, and you may act accordingly to those thoughts. So it's important to understand that this can happen, but we can also take that blue, you know, the blue food coloring and the red coloring can be cleaned from your water to make your water clear, so you are in touch with what's truly you.
And how did it happen that we ended up being so lost to our thoughts and thinking that we are our thoughts and we are these emotions? Do you have a theory behind that? Monkey wrench.
Yeah. Let me think on that for a minute. I think we've a lot of programming. We've been programmed, you know, to think that, you know, right from, you know, day one, our parents basically pass on whatever their thoughts, beliefs, worldviews are. We go to school and then we're told how to think, what to think, and then we work and are told how to work, what to do, and we have government that is even more so now putting more and more restrictions and rules on us. And I think we just have been beat down and beat down and beat down, which is why this work is so important, because this is allowing people to stand in their power. And then it doesn't matter what any of these groups do, because they're not going to be, you're not going to allow them to take you from your power, no matter what they do. And that's, if you think about the numbers of people that are out there that are feeling oppressed or depressed, and if they're able to get to a place of standing in their power, like, that makes us pretty powerful. But it doesn't make us powerful in a way that's damaging to anybody, because it makes us powerful in a way of getting where we're going.
And uplifting everybody as we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
I mean, I never worry when people are working on themselves and they may not believe something that I believe. I mean, I'm just sort of, just be open to the possibility of what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to believe anything that I say. But as long as people are working on themselves genuinely, then I have no doubt, even if I think they may be just barking up the wrong tree on something, they will come back to where they need to be if they're genuinely working on themselves.
And what do you suggest for people to better help them to work on themselves?
Well,
wise teens, wise parenting, wise pets, but
yeah,
whatever else we can come up with.
You know what, just for yourself as an individual, and this may be difficult, but just be very honest with yourself. As I sort of mentioned earlier, there's a fine line between blaming yourself and taking responsibility. And if we tend to go on the side of the blaming yourself or blaming others, then that's like quicksand and you're stuck and it's really difficult to move forward. But if you can just acknowledge that you have a responsibility in every relationship, friendship, connection that you have in your life, then you're able to see what your power is in it, and you can, you know, take responsibility for what for your part in the friendship, relationship, whatever it is, and you can keep moving forward through releasing and growing into who you want to be.
Have you seen the wise approach help people with physical ailments?
Yeah, because just even the idea of, we were talking about earlier, of the you know, the different food colorings in the water,
right?
That can have an effect on people's, you know, wherever they happen to be, wherever those energies happen to be clinging.
Definitely diseasement of the mind. So yeah, it's there.
Even things like lost spirits, they cling right back here, your neck and shoulders. I have a building of pure light that I have people set up for that, and they feel like they've had a massage because they instantly become just really relaxed there.
Ooh, I stumbled upon something new. Okay, tell me about the building of pure light. Tell us about the building of pure light.
Well, what that is it's a building that I have people visualize with 2 rooms in it. The first room is for spirits that haven't been to the light to be attracted to. Once they're attracted to or guided to by your appropriate guide, to that room, then they're wrapped in a blanket of unconditional love, and a pure light vacuum tunnel is created for them and appropriate loved ones on the other side there to meet them, and so they will go to the, you know, through the tunnel to the loved ones. And the second room is for spirits that have been to the light already but would like to connect with loved ones. It's just an opportunity for a place for them to sit and wait until you're able to help them, for people that are have the medium, are mediums, or growing into being mediums.
And do you think that these entities are drawn to people's, particularly their Atlas area, because they feel that we will eventually take responsibility and help take them where they need to be?
Well,
that there are definitely parts of ourself as well.
Yeah. I mean, I always say you're sort of like a light in a dark room or something to them, and that's what attracts them. I think it's important. One of the things I've noticed is people have a tendency to be really fascinated by spirits that haven't been to the light, and that's all fine and wonderful, and I'm not a party pooper, but I think it's really important that we put them first, in that they're stuck here. If they've not been to the light, they're stuck here. And normally it's because they're feeling guilt or feeling anger or feeling shame, or it's their emotions that are keeping them here. So I think we have a responsibility to do whatever we can to help them to get healing, as opposed to putting TV shows on about
See, people
ghosts.
tend to think that spirits are, something so paranormal and so intangible, but I feel that, again, it's expressions of our, like, we can't see a lot of our emotions and our thoughts, right? So, in a sense, they're, ghostly, but, or it can be considered an entity that takes on a life of its own, and connects with other entities and so forth. So that's how I see it. So it's nothing too out there for anyone to grasp. It's just back to responsibility and doing what needs to be done in order for us to be free from these patterns that we find ourselves in, be it entity or emotion, thought, so forth, right?
Yeah. Well, and something, you bring up a good point, or twigged a good point in my head. When we're being attacked energetically, or we have those maybe
Bad thoughts, self-destructive thoughts, emotions.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more sort of like an outside thing coming in
Okay.
at us.
Okay.
We feel, there's times when we feel like that person's attacking me, there's nothing I can do. Which there could be nothing further from the truth, because people can only attack energy-wise or attack us when there's something that resonates within. So if you're attacking me with words and you trigger me, then that's within me, the trigger, and that's where I have my power to look at that and see what it is, what the core issue is. Because you attacking me with words is only a symptom of a problem. And from an energy perspective, psychic vampires, all that sort of thing, they can only have an effect when their energy resonates within us. So anytime that I've been attacked, you know how you're usually feeling really bad about yourself, you're feeling, really uncomfortable or whatever. And what it does really is just highlights what's already there. And so if you can look at what it is you're feeling, then go and look for your trigger root and deal with that, then the attack no longer has an effect on you.
Like, people are mirrors reflecting everything we don't want, mirrors of ourselves of what we do not want to see nor admit. But what about something like an animal? If an animal is being, beat up by a person, can we say that there's something within them that they're not taking responsibility and drawing it to them? Or a child?
The animal and the child, you mean?
Well, I'm just using two examples. An animal, where does it come from that they end up attracting, say, a owner that hurts them? Or even same with a child who ends up incarnating in an abusive home or something. How does this coincide?
Well, in situations like that, I think we all come here with chosen lessons. And I know a lot of people have a hard time with this particular issue. And it's not that anybody comes here and deserves to be treated like they're being treated like in an abusive situation. But there's so much learning to be had as a soul being in a situation that's really abusive, if you allow that for yourself, if you kind of don't go on the blame side of that line, but take the responsibility and acknowledge what's happened. And I mean, when we do the forgiveness, you forgive whoever it was that did whatever to you, for making you feel like they did. So you're taking responsibility then that I allowed you to make me feel this way or that way. Then you're forgiving yourself for allowing them to make you feel that way, for not trusting yourself